All right, we're going to look at center of mass with momentum. And so the momentum of the center of mass is going to equal the total momentum times the velocity of the center of mass. Or I could get this by just adding up all the momentums of each object, or I could just call it the total momentum. So our example is number 56. I have two objects, object 1 and object 2. We know a lot about object 2. We know its position is 8 meters, it's at rest, and it has a mass of 0.1 kilograms. Object 1 we just know is at the origin. We don't know how fast it's going, we don't know its mass. But we do know that the center of mass location is 2 meters, and the center of mass velocity is 5 meters per second. And so it's going to ask us to find the mass of 0.1, or object 1, the total momentum, and the speed or velocity of 0.1. So let's start out by finding m1. So we're going to use the center of mass equation for multiple objects. So in our case, we're just dealing with the x direction. So xcm is going to be m1 x1 plus m2 x2, all divided by m1 plus m2. Since x1 is 0, that cancels out. And we are then going to just have to solve for m1. And so we solve for m1, so we're going to multiply that over, divide the xcm over, and in the end we end up with m1 is equal to 0.3 kilograms, after a little bit of algebra there. Now we want to find the total momentum. Well, I could find the total momentum by adding up the momentum of each object, but I don't know how fast m1 is going. So I can go over here and say, oh, it's the total mass times VCM. I do know VCM. I now know both masses, so I can find the total momentum. So the total momentum is going to equal the momentum of the center of mass, which is equal to the total mass of 0.3 plus 0.1 times 5 I hat. And so my total momentum is going to be 2 kilogram meter per second I hat. Okay. Now it wants me to find the velocity of 0.1. All right. So, well, I got enough space over here. So now I want to find v1. So here I can say, okay, the sum of the momentums is going to be m1 v1 plus m2 v2, and that's going to equal my total momentum, which I just found. And we know that v2 is 0, so that can go away. So in order to find v1, I just need to take my 2 and divide it by my mass 1, which we found in part A, which is 0.3. And so we end up with 6.67 meters per second I hat for v1. And so here's how we can kind of incorporate center of mass and momentum together.